Hello students, I am Daniel. Welcome back to the video tutorial, the second part of the video tutorial on the introduction to Microsoft Excel. The Microsoft Excel, in this video, will give you the foundational knowledge of Microsoft Excel and how to use Microsoft Excel application to perform data analysis, financial analysis, and other complex numerical computations in the Microsoft Excel worksheet. Let's start now. As we are starting, I want to list out the exact topics for this first module. The topics we are going to deal with and talk about are the use of function, like sum function, average function, maximums and minimums, and count function. We are going to look at the relative reference, absolute reference, mixed reference, 3D reference, worksheet comments, trace precedence, use of array in formula, show formula or dating. How do we make use of hyperlinks? We're going to look at the topic like count if, sum if, and average if function. We are going to look at how do we filter our data, our records. We're going to look at both the simple and advanced filter or filtering. We're going to look at the upper and lower and proper um, function in our Excel worksheet. We are going to look at how we are going to protect our sheet. We can protect our worksheet, our sheet structure, or our worksheet structure, our worksheet parts, and the workbook entirely. We're going to look at text to column. How do we concatenate our data? We call it concatenations and ampersand. Then we are going to look at how do we convert a text string to a uppercase letter, upper function, lower function. How do we convert all letter in the text string to lowercase? Also proper function. How do we convert a text string to proper case, the first letter in each of the word to uppercase, and all other letters to lowercase? We're going to look how do we use a format painter, like the look of a particular selection. We can apply that look to other contents in a document. We're going to look at how do we clear the contents of our worksheet. We also need to look at how we are going to use tabs in our worksheet, how to group our informations, and how to group our commands. So we look at also we are going to look at the relative reference. So what do we mean by relative reference before we start? A relative reference is a reference that changes when you copy a formula from one cell to another cell. And when you are using this relative reference, you must understand that it must be preceded by an equal sign. Then, what is an absolute reference? I need to clarify this before we start because understanding this thing will help you to be able to analyze reports in your Excel worksheet. What's an absolute reference? Absolute reference is a reference that does not change or that is fixed reference. When you copy a formula from one cell to another cell, and it must be preceded by an equal sign. And you must add dollar sign before the column letter and the row number. What's a mixed reference? A mixed reference is the combination of relative reference and absolute reference. Also, it must be preceded by an equal sign. It can be denoted by example $A1 or $1. What is a 3D reference in Microsoft Excel when you are manipulating your data? A 3D reference is a three-dimensional reference that can be used to combine references from multiple worksheets or a workbook. It can be denoted by say, a name worksheet. Says analysis as sum equal to quotes, says analysis, quotes C15 to 515. That's the range of the cell. We also need out. We are going to look at the filter. The filter help you organize your data so that it can be easily to analyze and filter out specific value under each field in your worksheet. We are going to look at how do we protect our worksheet, because it's important for you to protect your worksheet. Sometimes, if you are working in a toxic environment whereby it's not safe for you to leave your worksheet open, there's a method whereby you can protect your worksheet so that any other person who is not supposed to have access to your worksheet will be denying the access. We also need to look at hyperlink commands, which help us to create a link in our document for quick access to files and can take you to places in your document. And the command is called, the keyboard shortcut is what? Control K. Then finally, we are going to look at how to concatenate the informations that are placed in different columns in our worksheet and combine them to a single column. That is joining several text strings into one text string. Now, let's start the calculations. Look at the schedule. Look at this report here. I have a report for us to help us understand what I'm trying to say. In this report, this is the sales analysis of a particular organization. Let's call this organization company ABC. Company ABC has the we have the staff, the employee who work for the organization. They are 6 person. If you look at column A, you see first name, and column B is last name. The first name and last name are the names of their 6 person. So the 6 person were given maybe targets to sell a particular product. So the result of their performance, the result of their activities were placed on the worksheet. In column C, we have the in first quarter, Ade in row 3, Ade Linus in row 3 made $30,000 worth of goods sold. That he made $30,000 for selling a particular goods. In quarter 2, he made $40,000 for selling a particular goods. In quarter 3, he made $50,000 for the sales for the good he sold for the company. And quarter 4, he made a sum of $60,000 for selling a particular goods for the organization. And the same thing applied to all the other sales person in row 3 down to row 19. Now, the informations are tabulated in the worksheet. Now, the organization want to know how much the total amount of money that Ade Linus in row 3 made for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So if you look at column G, the question is, what is the total sales per employee? How do you calculate this? How do we know the total sales per employee? So this one will bring us to the first commands we are going to use in Microsoft Excel to do our analysis. For you to understand, I have summarized the function that we will use to do our calculation on this worksheet. The first question is asking what? How do we sum the value of the first salesperson, which is Linus? How do you sum the total of he made in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? So we can make use of this command here. So we are going to do what? We are going to enter this command into our worksheet by clicking the cell and typing equal to sum, open bracket, cell range, and they close the bracket. In other words, I can say equal to sum, open the bracket, and I define the cell range, close the bracket, and press enter key. And this is exactly what I'm going to do now. So how do I do that? I want to sum the value of sales that Ade Linus in row 3 made in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. I want to place it here. That's why we say in quarter G, we say what is the total sales per employee. So to do this, what would I do? This is how you do the calculation. So number 1, you select this cell G1, and I mean cell G3. You type equal sign. By typing equal sign, you now activate the commands by pressing sum, because you ask to what? To the total the value of quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Now type XUM. That is the sum function. You double click it, I now highlight across. That's the range of the number you want to calculate. You now close the bracket. By closing the bracket, you press enter key. So that shows that added Linus in row 3, the amount he made from the sales in quarter 1, 2, 3 through quarter 4, the total is 180,000. If you want to do the same thing for Ayo Okpe in the row 4, what do? You press equal sign, you type XUM, sum, you double click. You now select the range of value from quarter 1 through quarter 4, like I'm doing now. Then you close the bracket and press enter key. So, but Excel is so powerful that you don't need to do your work on your worksheet mechanically. So Excel has given us a feature we can use to automate our process. If I continue to be doing this mechanically, like one after another, it's like I'm using calculator. Excel is more powerful than calculator. So you can automate your process, your calculation in Excel worksheet. How do you do that? You can click the first calculation you did here. Then you move your mouse pointer to the bottom right of the cell. Then as you move it, it turns to black cross. So what do? You can just drag it down. Excel automatically helps you to do what? To do the calculation for the other rows. You can see that is one method. I want to delete it. I show you another method, a faster method than this. Remember what I'm doing now? I want to calculate the sales for Ade Linus and other employee or marketer in this organization. So what I'm going to do now for you to understand, I'm going to do another method. Let me delete this one. I will press delete key to do this. So the second method is that to make it more faster, Excel, the purpose of using Excel to calculate or analyze your data is to do the analysis very fast. So the another method that can help you to do the faster calculation is what I'm going to demonstrate now. What do first? You first select the range. Select the range in which you want to put all the results of the calculation of quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, as you are seeing here. So this method is this one. From your keyboard, you can press a key called Alt equal to. If I press Alt equal to, we have a key called Alt key, ALT key. You press it and press equal sign. Doing that one, can you see? It does the calculation for me very fast. That's another method. So let me show another third method. I can delete this. This is another third method. In this third method, what you need to do is to go to your at your exec command at the top. You can look at the top. If you click home tab, you look at the editing group. You see a command called AutoSum. By clicking it, it will calculate it. It will show you this sign. Then you press enter key. So if you have calculated the row number 3 for Ade Linus, the combination of sales in quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to calculate the other one, you don't need to worry yourself. What you need to do, take your mouse pointer to the bottom right of the cell. Your mouse pointer will turn to a what? Black cross. Then you click it twice in a rapid succession. It automatically help you to calculate the other cells. You can see that the other cells have been calculated. That's another method. So I've done that. So let's look at column H. We are asking, what is the average sales per employee? That means the question says, what is the average sales per employee? Who are the employee? The employee names are in the column A and column B. So I want to calculate the average sales. To do that one, you need to make use of the average commands or average function. Average function, and that's the function you are seeing here. This is what you are going to type. Equal to average. You now select open bracket and declare the cell reference and close the bracket. So to calculate the average now, look at it. Average here, average. You can see here, average. What do? Just say You select the cell, you press equal sign, you now type the average function AV. Can you see I type AV? By typing AV, it will give me all other suggestion. Because I'm looking for average, I will now click it twice. I now select the range of my number I want to calculate. So I'm selecting this. You can select it backward or backward or from back or to the front or from the front to the back. I'm taking it from the back now. I will select it. Can you see? I highlight it. Quarter four to quarter one, and I close the bracket and press enter key. So that's the average sales for Ade Linus. For me to do that one, I don't need to mechanize it. I don't need to do it manually. I can automate the process. How do I do that one? I'll click this value I've calculated in that cell. I move my mouse pointer to the bottom right of this cell. I click it twice in a rapid succession. It automatically helps me to calculate the average sale for all other salesperson. You can see, as simple as that. Then I want to know, if you look at column high, there's a question for us to answer here. It says, what is the highest sales per employee? You can see. I want to know what which quarter does Linus and other salesperson sold the highest. But I know that from this schedule here, Ade Linus sold the highest, make highest sales in quarter four, and the amount is $60,000. But I want you to show to me using using formula and function. How do I do that one? In Excel, when you are calculating the highest sales or the highest sales, you use a function called, or you call it the function called maximum, max. Can you see? Maximum mean highest. But when you are entering the data, you use equal to max. Then you define the range of the number you want to calculate. You want to find the maximum value. So I'll go back to that place now. You look at it. You can see in column I, the question is, what is the highest sales per employee? So when you are talking about highest sales, what are you saying? You want to know which quarter does each of the salesperson, you understand, make the highest sales. So how do I do that one? And I press equal to sign, and I type the function name max. Max mean what? Maximum. It say it helps us to return the largest value in a set of value. So what do? You click this max, you click it twice in rapid succession. Then it's asking you the number you want to calculate. Then you now go to your raw data and you select this. This is where you want to know this is the range you are trying to use for your maximum value. So I haven't done that one. You now close the bracket and press enter key from your keyboard. He say, you got $60,000. So he's showing this to us that if you look at your schedule again, you discover that highest sales was made in quarter four, which is $60,000. But you still need to calculate other salesperson's results or figure to show their performance. Then you can ask Excel to help you to automate the process. How do you do that? So that you can do that quickly. You don't need to be doing it mechanically or not manually. How do I do that? I will select the present calculation. I will move my mouse pointer to the bottom right of the cell, and I'll click that. Can you see it? My mouse pointer turned to black cross. Then I'll now double click in a rapid succession. So it automatically help me to calculate the result for the other one. Can you see result for each of the salesperson in our worksheet? You can see that's for what we call maximum. Let us also look at column J. The question says that what is the lowest sales per employee? It's just the direct opposite of the highest sales. That means the lowest sales, where the salesperson sold the lowest. In which quarter does he sell does this where he sold the lowest? To do that one, you are going to use a formula or function called minimum. Minimum. Can you see? Minimum is called lowest. So when you want to use that commands, and that is the function, you use equal to min. You open the bracket and select the range of data you want to use. Close the bracket and press enter key. So let's apply that. You go to look at the column J. Say what is the lowest sales per employee? How do you do that calculation? You select the cell, you press equal to, you activate the commands. That the function name min. Then you double click the min function here. Can you see? You now select the data that you want to use. Where the data? That's the range of the data. You select from here. From here, 30,000, 40, 50, and 60. Haven't done that, what do? You now close the bracket and press enter key. You have calculated for Ade Linus in row 3. This is what you have done in row 3. But for you to calculate for the other rows, employees that have been placed in other rows like this I've seen here, what do you need to do? You don't need to repeat the process. You can ask Excel to help you to automate the process. How do I do that? I'll now come to this place and say, you now click the one that you have the row of the Ade Linus you have already calculated. Then you now take your mouse pointer to the bottom right and click it twice in a rapid succession. It helps you automatically automate the calculation for the other rows for all the other employee. You can see. So the last one is we are going to handle today is in column K. It says assign 10% of the total sales as commission. What does this one mean? It means that the organization has promised the salesperson that whatever you sell in quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you sum them together, we are going to give you 10% of what you sold combined from quarter 1 to quarter 4. And that's what we are going to do. So we are going to make use of a percentage commands. The question says assign 10% of total sales as commission for each of the salesperson. And if already we have calculated the total sales for each one of them in column G. For Ade Linus, if you can look at here, look at the row, Ade Linus. Ade Linus, can you see? Quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. The total sales is 180,000. Now you need to collect 10%, and we need to do the computation of that 10% of the total sales. The total sales is $180,000. So we want to find out, we want to analyze or want to calculate what will be the 10% of $180,000, which will be assigned to Ade Linus in row 3. So how do we do that? You select this cell, you press equal sign, you type 10% from your keyboard, 10, you hold down your shift key and press 5. Will give you the percentage sign. In basic mathematics, you say when you say 10% of something, you are multiplying. But in Excel, you don't use multiplication sign, you use asterisk to represent multiplication. So from my keyboard, I'll press shift key and what? And 8. It will give me asterisk. That is how you can use, this is the kind of multiplication you can do in Excel. You don't use X, you use asterisk. Now say equal to 10% of what? Of the total sales. You want to assign it as a commission for Ade Linus. And I'll type equal to 10% times, where is the total sales? Total sales is here. I'll click it. That means that my total sales is inside cell G3. This is column G and row 3. So inside the G3, I have the value called $180,000. So that means I'm saying 10% of value inside cell G3, column G, row 3. I won't specify that command. I will now press enter key. So the result is what? $18,000. So you can see that Ade Linus, he made a sales, total sales from quarter 1. Quarter 1 is 30,000, quarter 2 is 40,000, quarter 3 is 50,000, quarter 4 is 60,000. The combined sales for the whole quarter is what? For the whole year, is 180,000. And you need to collect 10% of that amount, and that's the calculation I make here. So it's going to get commission of 18,000. But I don't need to repeat the same process. I don't need to go through that same process to calculate the percent, I mean the commission for all other salesperson, as you are seeing here. These are all other salesperson. The best thing to do is to ask Excel to help him to automate the process to make it more faster. I don't want to use mechanical way. I don't want to use manual method. I want to say, Excel, can you, I haven't done this one. Can you help me to repeat or replicate the process so that I can get the total commission for other salesperson? How do I do that? You take your mouse pointer, you click this, the calculation you have done, that the result here, in this where you put the 18,000 for Ade Linus. You move your mouse pointer to the bottom right. Your mouse pointer will turn to black cross. You double click it in rapid succession, and it will automatically help you to calculate the commission for all other salesperson. And that is what you are seeing I've done here now. You can see I've done that, the calculation. So that is what you want to learn in this, the second modules. How would we use what we have just done here? We have seen how we make use of what? We make use of our commands and functions and formula. The use of function, sum, average, maximum, minimum. Later on, we are going to do other one. So I hope you enjoy and understand the process I use to calculate this and do this analysis and calculation. Thank you very much for joining me online. And the next module, we shall meet again. Thank you.